Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Danny from The Glittered Rose. You can find me over on Instagram and also over on Amazon. I have some exciting news. I've just published a brand new book on Amazon called Modern Illustrations. I'll do a quick flip through in this video, but before we do, I'll talk to you a bit about the project that we'll complete in this video using one of the images in Modern Illustrations. So I've created a vintage textural background. It features layers of colors, some grit, lots of interest, and best of all, it was really nice and easy. So I have already had a fail today. Um, I wasn't very happy, so I wanted to create something that was um, not only appealing for my art journal, but something that didn't take hours. So I sat down, I wanted to complete something that was for me. So they're colors that I really love, but it's a technique that I haven't done for years. I've done it before, but I haven't done it, you know, maybe for 2 years. I also added things that I have never done before, with this technique. So I've popped little rust details in it. And I think that together the effect is really quite striking. Um, there's clear embossing on top, layers of stamping. So while the technique is quite quick, when you put it all together, I think that it's really quite appealing. So I hope you stick around for not only the flip of my brand new book, but for the project as well. I'll have them time stamped below in case you're a bit time poor like I was this afternoon, so that you can pick and choose what you want to watch. Let me know what you think about my book. Um, yeah, it's a bit brighter, a bit more aimed at people who like some colour. So let me know what you think. I'll have a link in the description box below for anybody who might want to have a look on Amazon. The book's a bit bigger than my previous books, but I've kept the price the same because I know, money's a bit tight at the moment for everyone. So be sure to check it out and let me know what you think. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so Modern Illustrations is a little bit different to the other two books that I've created in my Not So Fussy Cutting Club series. It's a little bit brighter. Each of my books serves a different purpose. So, Fascinating Faces is a little bit more generalized, whereas Dark Secrets is a little bit darker and a little bit more, well, people say it's not creepy, it's a little bit just more, I guess, more atmospheric. I love Dark Secrets. I think it's my favorite. It's just a little bit sort of darker. Whereas Fascinating Face has just got some sort of brighter, more sort of stunning imagery, more general. There's a bit of everything in it for everyone. Modern Illustrations has got some really sort of bright images, as there's abstract cubism, pop and contemporary art inspired images. Um, so again, I've gone with matte paper of the highest quality that you can get. The paper is really high quality so that when you glue it down, there's no buckling. It goes over any sort of texture. It's really nice. So you can see there's lots of sort of different images. There's people, animals, and there's some patterns in there, houses. textures. It's really cool, this one. I really like this book. Sort of for people who want more bright, in your face sort of images. And there's a good variety of different sizes and shapes as well. Some clowns. There's a few cats there. Real pop art. I've used a couple of these images, so the pages are quite thick. It's very nice. Some houses. Some lovely quotes and words scattered amongst it. So some villas, some floral images. I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's also some more muted colours amongst it as well. So people like me, who's not so comfortable with bright colours, I'll be able to use some of these images as well. I think there's some really lovely images in this book. I really do love that one there. I can't wait to see what people come up with when they use this book. That dog makes me giggle. His eyes. He's obviously waiting for a ball or a bone or something. Okay, I'm going to work out which image to use and then get set up, and I'll be back. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to grab down a distress color. Now you just need a water reactive ink. You don't need a distress oxide. Any ink that you've got. So I'm going to use Hickory Smoke, and I've got a brayer, and I'm just spraying on some color. I think a brayer will just quickly pop down some color, and it will pop it down fairly evenly onto my watercolor paper. And then I'm going to go with Walnut Stain and Rusty Hinge. I'm just picking up these three colors because I think that they will go quite well with my focal image. I've already had a fail of a attempt today, so I think that this technique should be nice and quick. I don't have much time before I pick up the kids, or much patience, so we're giving this a go. I have done this previously, a couple of years ago. I haven't done this for a while. And so as you can see, I'm not worrying too much about how I'm putting this ink down. I'm just spreading it with my brayer just across the page. And it's looking quite dry and quite plain at the moment. But wait until you spray water on it, and it all sort of mixes up, and this is when it all comes to life. You sort of want it to mix up, and you want it to loosen up from the bottom as well. So it really needs to have quite a bit of water. Otherwise, the ink that's soaked into the bottom will end up looking really dry. So you do want to get that water down in the bottom. Otherwise, you will notice that it sort of splits in two. It'll be wet on the top and dry on the bottom. I'm going to dry this off and I'll show you what it's like when it's dry. Okay, so it's looking pretty good, but to my eye, it's looking a little bit too rusty. So I'm going in with a little bit more hickory smoke and I'll go in with a bit more walnut stain just to try and tone down that rust. And this is just a good lesson that if something doesn't look too good to your eye, you can always tone things down just by going over it with your other colors. Um, yeah, you don't have to just stick with how it is now. But it looks cool, doesn't it? It's another technique to quickly get down some ink, and it's sort of a really textural look. But adding that water is really important, and adding enough water to get it to soak through is important. I'm not putting in as much water on because I didn't put as much ink this time. And I just had a thought. I want to add some texture to this. So I'm grabbing down some of my embossing glazes. And you don't actually need embossing ink to get the glazes to stick. So we're splashing some water onto this sheet. I'm going to have the glazes stick to this piece of paper. And this is going to add some grit and some texture to this piece of paper. So when I dry this, there's going to be some real grit and like bubbles. So I'm going to pop walnut stain on now. And I'll pop some rust on as well. And I might do a second coat of the rust. And it's going to look like bubbly rust. All right, I'm going to dry this off. And you can see, we'll see what it looks like. I'm loving this. I love rust and I try all different methods to get rust and I've completely forgotten about this technique. So I need to remember this. It's so cool. I ended up using a paintbrush and splattering bigger splats on to get bigger globules of water to get more texture of the rust. And I think it's worked really well. I think my trick is where I'm going to pop this woman so that I can get as much of this texture in as possible. It's going to be it's almost hard. I know it needs more, but I don't want to cover up this background. It looks so cool to my eye. I think one of the reasons I love mixed media is the nuances of texture and um the things that the layers that you can see when you look really closely that may not be really obvious. So I'm going to do some clear embossing, and this is just a super fine writing, and I'm just randomly stamping this in little corners. And I'll just emboss this in clear. And I'm not even sure if this is going to show up on camera, but this is going to show up in person and when I, flip through and I can feel it. So I'm just going to, I'll heat emboss this off camera. Otherwise it's going to be really, really boring. I think I only burnt the paper maybe twice while heat embossing that, so really I've done well. I've just edged this with a walnut stain, um, what's it called? Distress crayon, just lightly, just to bring your eye out to the edge. Now I'm just going to randomly stamp around the place with some Aall Create Stamps. This is just a lovely butterfly stamp set. Um, I think everybody knows how much I love Aall Create and their stamps. They really do just lend themselves to sort of the background. I think that their designs are just so lovely. I think I need to pop some more color around the edges. So I've just grabbed my crayon and I'm coloring in around the edges. Well, my camera battery decided to die, so you've missed me glue down the focal image and the rusty heart. I've also glued down Start Somewhere. I have traced around the Start Somewhere with my Stabilo Awl, and I've also wet around that with a wet paintbrush. And now I'm going to wet around the image that I've also traced around with a Stabilo or with a wet paintbrush. This just outlines it and just sort of blends it into the background. Like I said, this is really a quick background, which is what I needed today. But I think it's a really effective one. If you don't have distress ink pads, it doesn't matter. It just you need a water reactive ink pad. So it will work with anything, just something that you can wet down. I'm not 100% sure if all embossing powders can be stuck down with water. I would imagine maybe they could. I'm not sure. Give this a quick dry off and we'll have a close look together. I think that the result is really cool. I think with the added extra texture of the embossing powders, the stamping and the embossing powder, it's really cool. I love that image. I think she's really, really cool. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to give this technique a try. I really enjoyed it. think adding some distressed paper is, a fantastic way to add interest in your art journal. I'm really happy that this Modern Illustrations is out. There's some really cool images. I can't wait to play with them. To the other books in the series. The tag that I created. I love that tag. I think it's so cool. And that's fascinating faces. Some great images in that one too. All right, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this technique. I love it. I reckon it's cool. I love the image too. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Be sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. It's really, nice when people share. Helps me get my channel out there. Till next time. Bye for now.